Madam Web is one of the most ridiculous movies I've ever seen. And its ridiculousness is not supported by any kind of substance, right? There are certain movies that are ridiculous, but they have substance, so that, it's kind of worth the trip. This ain't worth the trip. Now, do you want to have a laugh at the expense of others in a way that was not their intent? Then this movie is worth the trip. This movie is a travesty. It defies all logic. It defies all logic. It's about Cassandra Webb and her quest to protect three young girls who are supposed to become future spider women that will eventually kill our main villain. Ezekiel once helped Cassandra Webb's mother
when she was researching spiders right before she died.
Track down spiders, certain types of spiders in the Amazon, and upon her finding the spider, because she did find it, good job for her, he promptly kills her accidentally. So Ezekiel steals one of these spiders, gets bitten by said spider, and then he disappears for decades. She is then, as she lays dying, pregnant, by the way, picked up by Amazonian spider people. They're all painted in red, and apparently their history is wrapped around a relationship with these spiders, in which the spiders would bite them and they would gain powers. Random ass spider powers, which is, it happens. Comic books are weird sometimes. However, it doesn't make any sense. Now, mind you, these spiders are not radioactive. They're just of the land, if you will. So, normal spider. Well, I guess you can't really call them normal because they give people powers. And then they bring Cassandra's dying mother to a watery cave, allow one of the spiders to bite her mother as she lay dying in the water, and immediately she gives birth. Now, here's the interesting part. The spider bites Cassandra's mother. Within minutes, Cassandra's born. But Cassandra has the powers of said spider, or, said clan who has the same powers as these spiders. In no way, shape, or form would a spider bite travel from the chest area that her mother was bitten to her vaginal canal and be able to impact or infect Cassandra. That would take some time, but she's born almost immediately. So there's really no way in hell she should have any powers at all, but that's neither here nor there. She's put into the adoption agency or foster care system. I'm guessing by the Amazonians because there's no one there to take her back to New York. So unless, the Amazonians have a passport, or they just put this little girl on a plane and, shipped her out. That seems unlikely based on what we know about these Amazonian people. Now, fast forward. She grows up rather, and it's 2003. That is the year that this movie takes place, 2003. Cassandra's a paramedic. She helps save lives. She just so happens to be partnered as a paramedic with Ben Parker. And they have a pretty good relationship. They're cool. They're kind of like a found family kind of thing, right? And all of a sudden, in Cassandra's adulthood, she starts to have visions, premonitions. She seemingly can see into the future. Eventually, the visions lead Cassandra Cain to the three young girls. They all happen to be on a train together at the same time. You see that scene from the trailer where he says, New York City's a whole new brand of crazy, my nigga.
New York City's a whole new level of crazy.
My nigga, that happens seemingly at first for no reason. It's like, why are you even saying this out loud? It's hilarious. The dialogue is insane. Ezekiel is able to break into the NSA and have a woman in a chair who, I don't even know if she ever got a name, is using facial recognition in 2003 in order to find these three young teenage girls across the city. At the same time, Cassandra Cain, I keep saying Cassandra Cain, Cassandra Webb has already run into these young girls. Of course, Ezekiel, he comes into the train with a full Spider-Man get up on, and with no, inspiration from Spider-Man because Peter Parker has not been born yet. This is the year that Peter Parker is born, in 2003, which is really interesting considering the fact that Sony was trying to tie in either Tom Holland Andrew Garfield into this movie, which is impossible considering the timeline. If Spider-Man is born in 2003, and let's say he's 16-ish when he gets his powers, I want to say, maybe a little younger. I'm not talking about the comic books, I'm talking about the movies. Either one of them, right? 14 to 16. Let's say at the latest. He wouldn't become Spider-Man until 2019. It does not work because Civil War took place in 2016. I have no idea like what the timeline of what year Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man takes place, but I can tell you it was way before 2019. Back to the movie. Cassandra Cain is there and she protects them by getting them off the train because apparently Ezekiel has the powers of a spider. He can crawl. He has all the power of Spider-Man except for the ability to swing, which is not really a power, it's an invention. So it makes sense that he doesn't have it. He keeps getting duped on and off the train. It's very interesting. So eventually he gets off the train. He chases these young girls. They steal a cab. The cab is hilarious because it stays in the movie for the entire movie and no one picks it up and decides, hey, is that the stolen cab? Never happens. We get the first instance of what Cassandra Webb's bodyguard style is, which is consistently leave the girls behind. Literally. They drive into the forest with a cab. How? I don't know. Almost immediately after she explains to them that she can see the future and gets a pine cone thrown at her or something else. She says, hey guys, I'm supposed to be protecting you and the best way I can do that is by leaving you all here in the woods with minimal food. And so she leaves. She dips off. She goes back to her apartment to find information and she finds out more about these spiders and things of that nature and how the spiders connect. And then she comes back. The girls are gone. Where did they go? They went to a diner because they were left alone with minimal food and no way to contact her because she threw their phones away. And they go to the diner and they leave a fire burning in the woods. Kids, let me just tell you right now, never leave a fire burning in the woods. You can quite literally cause a forest fire. Real shit. When they leave, and I understand why they left. They left to go get some food. I'm a fat guy myself. I would leave to get some food too. They leave and go to a diner nearby, about a half a mile down. They order food. They run into a bunch of boys from, it seems like a football team. And immediately, these 3 teenage girls start table dancing. Quite literally, all 3 of them are standing on top of this table, dancing to Britney Spears. Remember, it's 2003. Cassandra Webb goes back to the forest in which she left them at, and it's like, oh no, they're not here. Where could these teenagers that you left alone with barely any food have gone? So she hears a juke box from the diner. Then she goes back to the cab that she stole. Then she engages in some Fast and the Furious nonsense and decides to drive behind this truck, right? And the truck is moving way too slow for her. Way too slow. And she swerves around the truck to make a right turn. And she could have literally have waited 5 good seconds to turn down anyway. When you see this turn, she makes a right turn, dashes in front of the truck, almost gets herself killed to make a right turn that she was going to make anyway. As an adult, as someone who drives often in Philly, this was stupid. That was crazy. Anyway, so she goes, she has a premonition right before she reaches the diner. Opening scene from the trailer. They get mollywopped by Ezekiel in the vision, but when she actually arrives, Ezekiel's already there after the girls are dancing on the table. And Ezekiel's walking in and she hits him with the cab. Fantastic.
It's really interesting how it plays on fate.
Good move. Drive into the diner with the car, hit Ezekiel, put everybody else in danger. Am I nitpicking? A little bit. And then more hijinks from that ensues. She hits him with a door. He flies off. She has no powers. No strength powers or anything like that, by the way. He just kind of lays there, right? So this dude is the worst spider person ever. He gets hurt by the most ridiculous things. So anyway, later on in the movie, she brings them to Uncle Ben's house, who is taking care of Peter Parker's mother, who's very pregnant at the time. And she's about to have the baby. She's with child. She's about to burst. She leaves them, drops them off there, leaves them again. This time she goes to Peru. She leaves them to find out more about these spiders that her mother was investigating and that seems to be the cause of her power. She finds the exact same tree that her mother found the spider on, the exact same tree. And then she runs into the Amazon spider dudes. They then take her to the cave that she was born in, the watery cave that she was born in. He hits her with the Doctor Strange astral projection, essentially, and her spirit goes into the water, and she ends up in the doctor's office where her mother is talking about the complications with the baby, wanting to go to the Amazon, and so on and so forth. And she's trying to figure out, the mother, how she can save her child, right? Here's the issue. Cassandra has very poor listening skills. Almost immediately, she accuses her mother of not loving her. Which I guess is, no, it just doesn't make any sense. She almost immediately accuses her mother of not loving her, and when you get some of the worst dialogue ever, oh, you loved me the entire time, I can't believe it. It was terrible, right? So she comes back from her vision, and then flies back from Peru. The same night, she's back. She left them with Ben Parker. She's back with them with Ben Parker the same damn day, night, whatever, wearing the exact same clothes. At least that's what I recall. They, I believe, are wearing the exact same clothes. She went from New York to Peru and back the same night, just in time to try to rescue them from Ezekiel, who caught them because of the NSA cameras. She has a vision of where they're in danger at, so she steals an ambulance that's coming by to rescue someone else. Keep in mind, she's a paramedic. She steals that ambulance, drives it up a building through its parking structure, drives it through the wall, and hits Ezekiel off of the side of a building with the ambulance. She then drives that ambulance to a fireworks factory, which was mentioned earlier in the movie. The four girls, they devise a plot to feed Ezekiel with fireworks and flares. Ezekiel shows up. He's distracted by these flares, and they're running away, and they're trying to get away from Ezekiel. They use one of the flares to blow through a brick wall with a flare. A brick wall with a flare. They then proceed up to the roof, where all four of them are running around and ending up on different support beams around the roof of the building. And I struggle to say that they fight, because they really don't. They just kind of run. Madam Webb astral projects 3 different copy ninjas of herself and saves the girls who are all falling off these support beams, who Ezekiel is in arm's length of killing them all. They can't get to one of them for whatever reason, even though he has the powers of Spider-Man, seemingly. And then, if I recall correctly, Cassandra emits this spirit bomb from her inner man. It kind of blows Ezekiel back, and he falls. And then Pepsi kills him. Yes, Pepsi. A Pepsi sign falls onto his body, and he can't get up. And eventually, the P from the Pepsi falls on him and kills him. Cassandra falls into the water. She's hit across the face with a piece of debris from the exploding building that they set off with the fireworks. And she's blind now. That's how she gets blind. Not from the battle, but pieces of debris falls into the water and then blinds her. And at the end of the movie, she finds her super suit, or she gets a super suit. She kind of looks like Oracle from Batman, but, Madam Webb, she also has the wheelchair thing, so I'll give them that credit. And it's just the worst dialogue in the world. Oh, by the way, she says to Ezekiel, it was never the girls who were going to kill you. It was always me. How the fuck? The movie's terrible. I hope Sony, you got Craven and Venom 3 coming out. I really hope Sony never does this again after those two, because they're already in the can, essentially, and they're ready to go. Anyway, what did you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And I'll talk to you guys next time.